Amid the noise of everyday life, the flow of people going here and there, football and the World Cup dominates every conversation, on the street, in the offices and everywhere in between. The volume of talk around England peaked with 2 appearances in a Euro final and a quarter-final and semi-final under Gareth Southgate. Now it's Thomas Tuchel's turn to see if he can take this team one final step and reset a clock which has been ticking for 6 decades.
Over.
The dream ended for another. Football's not coming home.
The only people going home is us.
And despair.
Nearly 60 years of it.
Residents wants to know. Shh. It's time for the talking to stop. It's time for the boys to show us that they're ready. It's time for communities to come together. Time for millions to feel the same feeling, the same moment. To celebrate with friends, cry with family, hug strangers. It's time for the pub garden. It's time for the hope that never quite listens to logic.
We're going to win it. We can have anyone.
Time for the nerves, the belief that inevitable this might be it this time. It's time for a love that's never been easy.
Oh, no.
It's a time for heroes. Bobby, Gareth, Jordan. It's time to believe again.
Who writes your scripts?
I do.
It's time to end the 60-year wait.
It's Harry Kane!
It's time for England.
Well, 2 very familiar words couldn't be said any more believable than the one and only great acting legend himself, of that being Tom Hiddleston, once again UNICEF UK ambassador, and who also played for the winning side of England at the 20th anniversary edition of Soccer Aid for UNICEF, where unbelievably England won for their 7th time on record and now are just 1 behind in the all-time record previously held as still at the moment by the Soccer Aid World 11 side with 8 wins to 7. But with that, of course, very inspirational introduction. Good evening, England football fans, and welcome to this quite unexpected and late night edition version of the first episode of my spin-off series of World Cup 26, The America's Dream, and that being World Cup 26, The America's Dream Overtime. Now, of course, as you can see, that is a little bit more different to previous titles we've had with some of my other series covering major tournaments with England. But I went with the, since, of course, the majority of the tournament had been held in the United States, they call in most sports over in their part of the world the time for additional time, they call it overtime rather than of course extra time over here. So I thought I would go with the American term rather than the English term, and to make it a little bit more different than what I've done previously before. But then again, I of course when I last covered 4 years ago the last World Cup in Qatar, my previous series of England's of course their campaign at the World Cup titled Football's Come Home for Christmas post-match, I decided to call that and of course after the analysis after the match had obviously finished a few hours beforehand. So, but as I have said before, I know that I can only thoroughly apologise for the delay of this episode, and also you might be wondering why there is no video responding to the unbelievable match that happened just from a few days ago as of last week. With England's opening match against Croatia, and unfortunately, due to me being a part of a a committee meeting with my local theatre group of Ely Theatre Company, and also because of, unfortunately, where I went to, which was unbelievably the Herwood pub in Ely. Unfortunately, I couldn't get much footage because there was a lot of security around, and even though I did have my phone to hand, unfortunately, I couldn't film anything. But then again, I also got a chance to experience the match with my wonderful mum Samantha, and what an unbelievable game. I know that if most of you were, of course, watching just from a few days ago, an absolutely dominant performance from England despite conceding 2 goals, and once again England got off to a fine start over their World Cup rivals, and a bit of, I think, redemption after 8 years when they last were beaten by, of course, the nation of, like I said, Croatia at the World Cup. Losing to them in the semi-final, but a convincing 4-2 win for the Three Lions, and once again, to clarify, goals coming from an unbelievably a retaken penalty, which was initially saved, but then had to be retaken in the 11th minute for the captain Harry Kane, and then we saw a very skillful header also that he managed to convert. As if you can see on your screen right now, we have managed to replicate the graphic score line and the scorecard scoreboard graphics of this year's FIFA World Cup, and we can also amazing how we've replicated that. But once again, to remind you, as we had the as I just mentioned, Harry Kane scoring the opening goal with a penalty in the 12th minute, and then unbelievably then the player of Baturina then got an equaliser back in the 36th minute, and then unbelievably despite that happening also Harry Kane then scored from an impressive one-touch header, an amazing, of course, corner from that being Declan Rice in the 42nd minute, but unbelievably right on the stroke of half-time, after 5 minutes of additional time, stoppage time at the end of the first half, Musa then equalised again for Croatia, but then Jude Bellingham proving all the critics wrong on why he should be, of course, a player that some people thought that he couldn't really prove himself in this tournament. He's just been a bit of a media target, unfortunately, for, like, you know, bringing him down. But he shut all the critics up with an amazing, of course, impressive, skillful shot, unbelievably, and from a shot from quite a tight, of course, shooting angle, and then his shot rebounded off the post and then went past the goal line, and then from the 47th minute, and then Marcus Rashford rounding off the all-important, decisive and final goal, the 4th goal of the match, and he also scored impressively from another unique position on the field. And amazingly, it was a great performance from the team all round, from once again the Dallas Stadium in Arlington in Dallas, of course, where the match was played, home of the American football team of the Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as we have done in previous series, where we were going to actually hear from, of course, Jude Bellingham himself, Captain Harry Kane, and also Thomas Tuchel, also the England manager. We're going to hear from them right now, before we have got a few newspapers that covered this incredible match fixture. And once again, England went off to winning ways and starting off in fine style in the land of the home and the land of the free and home of the brave, that being the United States. As let's hear now exclusively from Gabriel Clark of ITV Sport, with interviews from the all-important players with those all-important goals that made England win their first opening match of this summer's FIFA World Cup, that being Jude Bellingham, Captain Harry Kane, and the manager Thomas Tuchel. Here he is.
Harry, well done. Breathless, nervous at times, brilliant at others. How do you sum up?
Yeah, I thought a game of 2 halves, really. I thought first half we was okay. Really disappointed to concede in the way we did, the way we dropped off. And credit to the manager. The manager gave us a speech at half-time just to say, look, if we lose, we lose. We lose in our way. And I think you saw that, how the way we come out in the second half, we went full gas, and they couldn't live with it. And that's the level we have to set for every game. So credit to everyone. The first game of the tournament, a great result against a tough side.
Anthony Barry told us at half-time it was confused and complicated. So what did the manager release? What did he say?
Yeah, I just think without the ball, we went a little bit more aggressive. It was difficult. They got great players, you know, when Luca's dropping in and they're trying to figure out who to pick up. But in the second half, we felt like, let's just go. If we see a man in front, we go. And just the intensity we went at, I think that's our biggest strength. So we're going to have to use that more this tournament.
Is that the template? Is that the level now you've set? And higher, maybe, that sort of early part in the second half?
That second half, for sure. And even the way we controlled the game, you know, once we went ahead, we never really looked like we was in danger. We controlled possession well. And then obviously scored on the counter-attack, which you can do in these type of games. So we had a spell there, first 20 minutes, where we could have scored 3 or 4. But in the end, you know, it's 3 points on the board and a great start.
And Jude Bellingham at tournament level again, like you, coming good. What it matters.
Yeah, great goal, great run, great finish. But you can see the desire from Jude. You know, you can see it in training. The competition we have in the place is high level. So whoever plays, everyone is ready. And you saw Jude is, you know, was itching to get out there. And what a fantastic goal.
Sweet Caroline is already playing. Well done. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well done. It felt like almost at times one of those victories that you really can savour.
Yeah, I think the second half especially, we really showed what we were about and how the team we want to be was showed in the second half. The first half, I think we were still a little bit nervy, a little bit cagey. I think we set up well defensively, pressed well, intensity was good without the ball, but with the ball probably rushed a little bit. And then second half, I think we created a nicer rhythm, and that's where we saw the best of us.
Harry Kane told us there was a speech from the manager at half-time. That's how good the manager was at half-time.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't one of those where it was a big drama. He wasn't standing up shouting. It was, I think, just what the team needed. And to be fair, we have a mature group. We have great leaders in there, and I think everyone kind of knew the level that we had to get to and why we weren't hitting it. So, yeah, we were very clear in the second half, and then obviously the early goal at the start of the second half gave us a good platform.
Well, that was your goal. It came at the end of a 23-man passing move.
Really? Yeah, I mean, I don't remember all 23. I remember Elliott's was pretty brilliant, and yeah, Noni was trying to take it off my toe, but no chance, and yeah, I just took it into the box and put it away. But obviously the work that goes into creating those kind of plays is obviously one that takes us weeks to get right, and credit to the manager and his staff. They've put us all in a position to be in our best places to make the difference, and we did it there.
Yeah, the manager and Harry have said this is your stage. This is when Jude Bellingham, and we've seen it today, Jude, will you relish it?
Yeah, well, it's my responsibility to the team and to my country is to give everything I have when I cross the line, and you know, wear that badge on the front, wear that number 10 on the back. I want to try and give everything that I have with and without the ball to the team. You know, it's been a long season for me. I've probably missed more camps than I would have liked, missed more games than I would have liked, but I think I've always got something in me where I know when it comes to this time, I'll step up for my team.
And it's a start. How do you sum up the spirit in this group and the quality that you've shown in flashes today?
Yeah.
When obviously it's all about what, you know, the final step, the second start.
I think the second half was more than flashes, to be honest. I think it was the constant level of the intensity without the ball was top level. The subs who came on were unbelievable. Rashi, Morgs, Bakayo, you know, pressing from the front, even with a minute left of added time, and that's the mentality we're trying to create in the group, and yeah, we hit the mark today.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabriel.
Well done. Breathless, brilliant at times. How do you sum it up?
Good second half, good reaction. I think first half was a bit complicated for us. I felt it's a bit nervy, and the decisions we took, they were basically we choose to go safe and play too many balls backwards. We struggled to find a rhythm, didn't have the confidence to go through the gaps and find a rhythm with some short passes and then the switch off play. And just saw a statistic of 33% ground duels won in the first half and 73 in the second half. So even off the ball, I felt us not brave enough, not committed enough together. And I love the reaction of the players into the second half. And the second half was excellent. We deserved to win, but it was emotional. A lot of emotions involved, and it took us a while to get going, but we did get going, and that's positive.
Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham have both paid due credit to what you said at half-time. Harry Kane called it a speech. It made a big difference.
Just reinforce. I just said, like, even if we, I said, even if we lose, it will not change my perception of the last 17 days. But let's do it our way. Let's do it our way. We're too focused on the result. We're too focused on protecting what we anyway don't have at the moment. And the second goal was just an example. We were seven. I think we were a back seven, and we didn't defend the goal. So why to be a back seven if we anyway? So if something happens, if the result doesn't go our way, we want to play this match the way we want to and the way we were together for 17 days. And I just tried to encourage them to go for it.
You certainly did. You went for Jude Bellingham to start. He's rewarded that, hasn't he, with a wonderful goal and performance. A tournament player.
Well, a very good player. He deserves to start, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to then fight for his place, to keep his place. That's what he did. It was good.
And how do you view this then, Thomas, as a start? Declan Rice has said he's okay. We hope others are okay. How do you view this then as a start?
Let's see. I hope they are okay, because normally I would never take Declan out, but I didn't want to take any risk, and I think the reaction, like I said, was excellent. The effort was enormous, because we lost. We were not very clean when we won balls with the first and the second touch after a ball win. We were not clean enough. We lost a lot of these moments, and then you work a lot a ball loss after a ball win is maybe the most tiring thing you can have. We have a lot of them, so we are exhausted. But don't get me wrong, I love exhausted players in the dressing room, and I think we needed this. This is a strong opponent. It's pressure. It's the first game in the tournament. We got our win, so today there's only positives, and tomorrow and day after tomorrow we fix all the other stuff.
Thank you, well done.
Well, some very encouraging words said there from, once again, Jude Bellingham, captain Harry Kane, and Thomas Tuchel there, the England manager, especially as he mentioned, of course, it's nice to hear that even though he has got tired players, they have definitely made a real statement, and even though this is the opening match for England at this summer's FIFA World Cup, they have started strongly, unlike any other team that have played before them, and that's unbelievably on their official World Cup record, as it does actually say on here on my phone right now. That is the third consecutive opening match victory at a FIFA World Cup since after the 6-2 win over the Islamic Republic of Iran from 4 years ago in 2022, and also that last minute 2-1 win thanks to an amazing header scored in stoppage time from also then Harry Kane when he was captaining England for the very first time. And unbelievably, this is now his sixth tournament, also being England, of course, captain. And as well as that, Jordan Pickford is also been part of the team through the last few major tournaments as well. So brilliant performance once again by those two particular players, and brilliant assists also from Declan Rice. And there was unbelievably a little bit of a scare when Bukayo Saka came on, but brilliant chances from the likes of Morgan Rogers there as well, and when Eberechi Eze came on as well. And it was brilliant. Also, Anthony Gordon had a few chances here and there throughout the game as well. And it's just been amazing. And there's also a lot of talk here, even though this has just been a few days since after that game. But we've also had a few reactions here on the social media site of X. And we start with TC, known as Total Cristiano on X. And he says, England have a genuine superstar in Jude Bellingham, and instead of praising him and treating him as such, the media just constantly slander him for clicks. Disgusting. Well, I totally agree about that. I think that's a very good point to prove. As I said, he became a bit of a media target right from the very beginning, even just the lead up to this tournament, and saying that would he be, of course, chosen over Morgan Rogers, which unbelievably he did get chosen. He replaced him after when he came off during the second half. and he was amazing though throughout the few days ago, and I'm so happy that he has managed to prove to everyone, all of the critics and all of the footballing experts, saying that he won't do well in this of course World Cup, and he has proven them once again. And I know that he may not have scored the opening goal of the tournament, but like I said before, it was all courtesy of the captain Harry Kane, who once again managed to get a penalty, and unexpectedly that was awarded by an unexpected challenge from the captain Luka Modric for Croatia, who forfeited a penalty for them, and unbelievably, due to the keeper moving before the ball was struck, of course he didn't stay on his line for the penalty. That's the reason why it had to be retaken, but it was brilliant to see that he managed to get a second chance, even though his first shot was saved initially, and he went on the right side of the goal mouth, and he went the exact same place, but this time round he went for a more wider, I think bottom right corner, and that's how he managed to convert the first goal for England after the first 15 minutes or so. So brilliant to see that, and as I've said before, of course, we've also had another here comment here, and this is from Jacob of Jacob Horsfall, sorry there, and he is a football analyst and presenter. And he also said, one of the most entertaining performances from an England side in recent years, a big confident win against a good side, and this is the headline, mental. And this was said by the Daily Mirror football newspaper, and it said, England player ratings as Kane and Bellingham shine, but 3 in capitals, 5 out of 10 stars struggle. So being very cynical over that particular the way certain England players played. But also we've had another one here from comment on the Mail on Sunday of Dan Hodges, and he said, I don't think I've enjoyed an England performance that much since we beat Holland in Euro 96. Couple of errors in concentration in the first half, but Croatia are a decent team, and in the second half we absolutely battered them. And that's the whole reason, unbelievably, how Croatia got their goals, their equalisers, the 2 equalisers that they managed to get back into the game. And that was down to gaps in kind of defence. But even though they were under pressure, England, because they are the hardest opponents to have in their World Cup group, but the way that they played, the way that they didn't go back, they like what Gareth Southgate would have considered from just a few years ago, and play it safe. They were a lot more forward and a lot more attacking. They were like really going for it, and that is very promising to see, and I had the pleasure of seeing that from a few days ago. And I know, of course, I didn't say it earlier on, right at the top of this program. I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible with, but we are looking into this with these amazing match performance from England, and we're hoping to try and get most of this done just under an hour, despite it already now just going past midnight here in the UK, and the opening few matches of the second match day of the group stage of this year's FIFA World Cup in the United States, and also Canada and Mexico has already started from a few days ago. But we'll have a full roundup of the full classified match day 1 group stage results, of course, later on in the program. And we've also had another comment here here on X, and now it's being focused here on, unbelievably, this is from the goals that Harry Kane scored too from a few days ago. He scored his 9th World Cup goal, and make that 8th and 9th actually, and he has now made it 80 goals for England in his the all-time record, as the record still the record goal scorer for an England football player. But we've also had this amazing comment here from Oro, known as McFly Bowery here on X, and he said, let's not whine ourselves. Kane belongs to the Suarez, Lewandowski, Benzema debate. Kane has one of the best individual resumes despite not much trophies to back it up, but individually they have nothing on him. Over 490 career goals, England's all-time top scorer, World Cup Golden Boot from the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia, 3 Premier League Golden Boots, Bundesliga top scorer, European Golden Shoe, multiple PFA Team of the Year appearances on pure individual level. He's right there with them, or even better. But football is cruel. For years, the only thing missing was silverware, and that gap shaped the entire narrative around him. It also made people underrate just how complete he is as a striker. Because if you strip trophies away and judge the player, Kane is one of the best forwards this generation has seen. Elite finisher, elite playmaker, elite consistency. He is won Champions League, or won World Cup with England and won Ballon d'Or away from overtaking all of them. That will completely change how history talks about him completely. That's how fine the margins are. So I know that was quite a lengthy one, but I wanted to address that as well. And as well as that, we've also had another comment here focusing on giving praise to Thomas Tuchel here on the way he's managed the team in the first opening fixture against Croatia. And Toby writes, known as Toby Askai on X, says, credit to Thomas Tuchel. For the first time, nobody is shouting Palmer should start, Trent should start, Foden should start. Everybody in the squad knows their place. Tuchel is the boss, and nobody is indispensable. Just like Saka on the bench or Guehi on the bench, he brought that peace. Secondly, people were probably expecting the usual 1-0 type of game that England usually give us in tournaments or the games where they struggle. They played flowing football. They look dangerous. Credit to the manager. So, and I was going to mention that most importantly because we've also had a few other people who have been quite against Thomas Tuchel, obviously for being a German manager, and this has mostly been a minority for most people if they have been supporting the side since he joined, of course, the England team from over a year ago. And we've also had Emma here of What the Fork, and that's meaning fork, not the to say the F-bomb. AVFC, who is an Aston Villa fan, who also has commented here, I'm never going to dislike Tuchel purely because he isn't English. What matters is how he inspires the players, and it seems they all love the bloke, which will translate to the pitch. So as far as I'm concerned, the anti-Tuchel lot can get in the bin. So brilliant to hear there. And we've also had here from Declan Rice when he was, I think, interviewed here. Even though that we didn't hear from him in the interviews we heard earlier, but from Harry Kane, also Jude Bellingham and Thomas Tuchel himself, he said he was top at half-time. It was one of those moments when you're like, wow, what a top manager. And this was said by, like I said, Declan Rice after the game. And brilliant to hear those words. And we did know that he had a hard-fought game. We do know that he has been recovering possibly from an unexpected injury he might have picked up during that last game. But we'll give you more an update on that later on in this edition of World Cup 26, the America's Dream Overtime. But we also, another comment here on X we have Clive PAAFC, who is a Arsenal fan here, and he's also a podcaster of Arsenal Vision, and he said, really enjoyed that. We can always find a performance you don't like, but to see England with a tactical template, build up in the triangles, rotation, runners in behind, we can get better, but that's decent. And he was doing a clapping hands emoji, so very promising to hear that there as well. We've also had Dougie Critchley, who is a reporter for Sky Sports, of course, football, and he said England were seriously entertaining last night. It's not often that we've been able to say that at major tournaments, but I'm so pleased that the way Tuchel has leaned, it maximises the key strength of the squad, an abundance of wide and central attacking talent. How many England managers would swap Rice, Gordon and Madueke for Rodgers, Rashford and Saka at 72 minutes with the score at 3-2? And the build-up to the fourth goal that sealed it justified it. There's a brilliant pass from James, being Reece James, Saka and also Rodgers and Spence, Jed Spence with, of course, their World Cup cap debuts, match debuts. And link up before the ball finds itself to Rashford's feet. And England have 5 players in a scoring position against 2 Croatians in the 85th minute, and Rashford confidently strokes it home. England have done well at major tournaments, but I never really got the impression that other nations really feared us to any great extent. Last night, onlookers would have no doubt taken confidence from the 2 sloppy goals we conceded, one stemming from a poor pass in midfield, the other from a lax press. But there aren't many nations who have created as many dangerous situations in the first round. So very promising words to hear there as well. And we've also had ex-head of analysis in the English Football League, EBL, also says here that England are tactically complete under Thomas Tuchel. The quality has always been there, but now they have an elite coach to match their level. It will take something special to top them this summer. Exciting times. So brilliant to hear there also. And we have a comment here about Bukayo Saka, even though this was still with a concern with Achilles tendonitis injury, he's still have been not fully recovered from while playing for Arsenal and the Premier League from earlier on this year. And Bukayo Saka clearly he says here, Adam Keys, who also is one of the hosts of the Arsenal Therapy podcast, and he says that Bukayo Saka clearly isn't fully fit, but from his assist and the chance he created for Rashford, it's clear that his decision making and technical prowess is on another level. For once he's been managed well for England. Tuchel is setting him up for a big knockout round impact. Well, that's very good words to hear there. And we've also had Sergio Valentin here, who presents Football S Radio on S Radio, which are based in Madrid in Spain. And he says, the team that I've liked most in the first match day has been England, and that alone means a lot. I've seen a different team, new concepts compared to the England of other tournaments. Tuchel's influence is evident. We may agree or not disagree with his lineup, but he's a coach who knows how to implement his ideas. And amazing, we also found out here that at the age of only 22 years old, officially it's been confirmed here from England, from the official X page here, he is the youngest European player to play at 4 major tournaments. So he is playing for a second time at the FIFA World Cup, as well as 2 European Championships, where he made a very promising debut back in 2021, which I do remember. But he's had an incredible career playing for England. And we've also had once again another EBL comment here on X, watching the England game back, blown away by the tactical detail. Thomas Tuchel is very special, rare to see this level of coaching at international level. I have no doubt in my mind that England are the most complete tactical team in the entire tournament. Well, that's a very big statement to say. And we've also had here, as I said, as mentioned, at the age of only 22 years old, we've had another comment here from Rian MBFC. not enough people in this country realise how incredibly lucky we are to have Jude Bellingham. So easy to forget he's only 22, genuine superstar who could perhaps retire one day as our greatest ever player. Well, I wouldn't say the greatest ever player. I think it's going to take some beating maybe from the goal scored unlikely there from the captain, that being of Harry Kane. But we've also had Ben Smith, loves Jack Senior, who's also a fan living in England, but also is I think an editor for a Portuguese football column, I think, in a newspaper. It doesn't say exactly here, but he said, never seen us so relaxed, never seen us so hungry, never seen us attack a team with that much in a close game against decent opposition, even when a goal in front. This England team is different and it's winning the World Cup. Told everyone, do not doubt Sir Thomas Tuchel, it's time. Well, he hasn't been knighted yet. It's interesting to know why he's called him a sir there, but also as of if he is set to play against the next opponents, that being in, of course, Group L, that being the Black Stars of the African nation of Ghana. It also says here that Jack Supple of from QPR, also a QPR Queen's Park Rangers fan, he said, assuming that if he plays against Ghana, Jude Bellingham will become the youngest player to reach 50 appearances for the England senior men's team. And as it stands, he is 22 years old and 359 days to that age. And he would beat Wayne Rooney's age of 23 years old, 159 days, and just 20 days behind Michael Owen in third, and then Raheem Sterling at 24 years and 180 days, and Bukayo Saka at 24 years with 285 days. So very interesting fact to hear about that as well. And also, just from a few days ago, the England team also played a behind closed doors friendly also against the Major League Soccer side of Sporting Kansas City from just a few days ago. And the game was planned to give those who didn't feature against Croatia a run out to keep them sharp and match fit for the next week's game, which is, of course, as we are doing this right now, of course, we started on Sunday evening and now we're into Monday morning as of the early hours of Monday morning. And England won 5-1 with Ivan Toney scoring amazingly a hat-trick, and Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins also bagging goals. And it says here that the substitutes of Dan Burn, Jordan Henderson, Eberechi Eze, Mark Gehi, Kobe Mainu, Djed Spence and Gerald Kwanzaa were among the players also involved in the training game, and it was played at the training base at the Swope Soccer Village training facility in Kansas City, which if you weren't with us, of course, as I know that I unbelievably did cover this on the lead up to the first game last week. They had been nearly threatened with the chance of potential dangerous inclement weather, including tornadoes and quite violent thunderstorms not too far away from their base camp, but luckily it avoided it, and they managed to be in a safe bunker to and none of them were of course were affected in it by this unexpected extreme weather event of course, of when that happened just a week ago. But we've also here, it says here from yesterday on the England X page that Nico O'Reilly on Harry Kane's influencer making his FIFA World Cup debut, he said, he's Kane crucial. And addressing the captain Harry Kane, and he leads us so well as skipper and scored 2 goals which were really important to us. And also as well, one of the big things which I do remember at the end of the game was the amazing use of a very popular song from the well-known Britpop band of Oasis. Of course, the Gallagher brothers of, once again, Noel and also... I was going to say, I'm trying to... Liam, there we go, yeah. I mean, it was before my time when I knew about Oasis, but I was familiar with their music and their famous song that they wrote many years ago of Wonderwall made a very welcome, of course, addition to the full-time whistle as the England fans from inside the Dallas Stadium, once again at the A&T Stadium, was beautifully embraced by the England football team. And I do remember Jude was fully embracing it as well. Here, the song Hey Jude was also played, also to honour him scoring his first goal of the FIFA World Cup as well, from the opening match as well. And we also saw in the front cover of the Metro newspaper as of a few days ago, and it said with the headline of, which was posted here by Rhea of known as it's Judith World on X, and it said, new anthem fires England, you're gonna be the one that saves us. Hope saw an emotional scenes as fans and players unite with Oasis classic Wonderwall. So brilliant to hear that, of course, has become very popular. And then again, unbelievably, also after the overplayed plays of the likes of Free Lions, and also Make That Freed From Desire, which is now being used by one of the other, of course, teams in this year's FIFA World Cup as unbelievably their goal song for England. They are going to go to a very familiar tune from the world of darts. And if you didn't know that, the very famous song of Chase the Sun by Planet Funk, an Italian house group, done the song originally back, unbelievably, 25 years ago, back in 2001, and it's always been used during, of course, the interval of an all-important darts match in the world of course, of the PDC, the Professional Darts Commission. And unbelievably, we also heard recently that the amazing, I think, number 1 and number 2 seeds of that being Luke the Nuke Littler and also Luke Humphreys also secured a 5th win for England at the World Cup of Darts, beating Netherlands in the final. And it was a brilliant achievement for them to have the song played when they celebrated them lifting the trophy for England. But a brilliant result for them, and it's great to hear that that song is going to be becoming a bit of an anthem for the England team throughout this tournament. I mean, I look at going back to a few days ago when I saw the Croatia match with my mum. When they were playing throughout the stadium, I was doing the oi oi part, of course, which is a very well-known refrain of the song, that even though it's played as an instrumental when it's played at any major darts competition or tournament, it's very well known for playing at that very same time. But there has been amazing things all the way through. We've also had talks here about, there's also something that's recently been talked about as well. And I think it's quite amazing that this has just popped up from the Daily Telegraph, and it said that Jude Bellingham has revealed why singing the national anthem for England, that being God Save the King, at the World Cup is so special to him. And he said, I think the anthem is the last chance that you get to be really mindful, really be mindful of the people that you have got, who have got there, and what it means to be from England. I just think about my granddad who passed away just before my England debut. He was so patriotic. He was an Englishman through and through. He could give you every fact about every war, every battle, every king and every queen. I do think about my granddad when that moment's coming. So brilliant to hear that there as well. And also we've had a few people who have addressed that in the same way on GB Politics, also on X, and Matty Freedom, known as Freedom Matty, who is a member of the Reform Party, a member of, I think, a member of Parliament, I think it is, or just of the political party itself. He said that I've been waiting to hear words from like this from an England player for decades. I've not seen it since the era of Stuart Pearce, Terry Butcher, etc. If you don't feel deep pride and responsibility playing for your country, then you should stick to club football. Well done, Jude. Well, I totally agree that excluding any connections with any politics at the moment, and not to mention with the recent announcement and possible resigning of the current Labour, of course, government Prime Minister, of that being Keir Starmer. But anyway, we've also heard something other important as well, which happened during when the national anthem was being sung, and a load of photographers, loads of like wide lens cameras were taking photos of Thomas Tuchel while he was watching his team singing the national anthem. And also he did actually say that he didn't want to sing the national anthem because he didn't want to be too ahead of himself. He wanted to focus on the game ahead, and obviously for someone who was German, that was no disrespect in any way, even though some people have had questioned about this in particular. But anyway, aside from that as well, it's also said here, according to Matt Lawton, who is the chief sports correspondent for the Times newspaper, and he said that from a few days ago, FIFA have agreed to move coaching staff down the touchline so that their view of the players is not blocked by photographers during the national anthems. And Thomas Tuchel complained last night about it from, of course, a few days ago from the match, and another win for England's head coach, which is brilliant to see that they've made, of course, they've already addressed that situation, and it's amazing to hear that they've already made a thing about it as well. And as we quickly have a look now, as we take a little breather from the comments here, as we'll also preview the upcoming second match for England against the African nation of Ghana. But as you can see, we've got a few newspapers here, and this was from the Sun on Thursday the 18th of June, and the headline reads, Texas Kane score massacre, Harry, Jude and Rash sink old foe. So it's a good little pun on the quite the famous horror film, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I think that was a very inventive headline there from, of course, from that on the front of the Sun newspaper. And it says here from Nick Parkin, one of the sports correspondents in Dallas, saying, hero Harry Kane scored twice last night as England beat Croatia 4-2 in their World Cup opener in Texas. The Three Lions skipper converted a retaken penalty before firing home a brilliant bullet header. Goals from Jude Bellingham and Marcus Rashford against England's bogey team sparked wild celebrations at the epic clash in Dallas. So brilliant to hear that there. And we also have got the front page also here with an amazing double page spread here, and it says England beat Croatia 4-2 in thriller, Kane and Bell and Rashford. So I think that might be an old I think school reference, like from a children's school there. But Harry nets first half double, Jude grabs stunning third, Marcus seals epic victory. And we've got some amazing football, England football fans reacting to the game, and we've also had a rousing, of course, reaction from Thomas Tuchel there, which I think he gave a little post-match huddle to his team after an amazing result. And as you see, that's an amazing striking image there of Jude Bellingham being embraced and I think kissed from on the back of his head by the captain Harry Kane, and also an amazing great celebration there for Marcus Rashford there with his arms out to the side, almost like a flying eagle, of course, like a one of those like American Eagles with the last and decisive goal there for England there over Croatia. We've also had a few other reactions of the fans, and even an interesting picture here of a very famous celebrity and judge from Britain's Got Talent of also Amanda Holden modelling the New England kit. As you can see, I'm also wearing the home kit as well. I got it especially in the lead up to the World Cup, and it says here on page 4 and 5, fans ecstatic after thrilling win, take Croat and party. So yeah, I think it's a pun on take that and party, because unbelievably I've just come fresh from yesterday from an actual streamed of course performance from the Etihad Stadium, home of the Premier League side of Manchester City, also with the very famous British boy pop band of that being Take That as part of their recent The Circus live tour that they've done recently, which was streamed on Amazon Music from this time last night and or from a few days ago, and it was a brilliant watch. So now I can see why the reference is used there, and Take That and Party was the very first song they actually brought out as an actual group from back in 1990, over 36 years ago. And that's amazing to hear there. We've also got some, it was also showing a bit of Royal Ascot, and as you can see on the front page, we also saw both His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales and Princess of Wales, also Prince William, and also his wife there, Kate Middleton. And also on the back page, very similar pose as well, and look at these piercing dark eyes there also of Jude Bellingham. A very similar picture to what we saw on the front, and it has the headline Dallas Wow Boys. The 2-goal Harry, Jude and Marcus start in rip-roaring Three Lions opener. And that's amazing to see that shot there as he was being hugged from the skipper Harry Kane. And he's really made a statement in this opening game, it has to be said, and I couldn't be any more happy for Jude. I mean, he's to have all that pressure on him right from the press, right on the opening game, and for him just to immediately shut them up in his own way of style of play is just incredible. So and next up we have the front page of the Daily Star newspaper from the same day, and has Joy of Texas as the headline. Kane at double as England off to a World Cup flyer. And also it said here from Jerry Lawton, chief reporter for the Daily Star newspaper, said England got off to a flying start at the World Cup in Texas last night with a stunning 4-2 win over Croatia. Skipper Harry Kane netted a first half brace before Jude Bellingham and sub Marcus Rashford clinched victory. So and I'm sure if we can have a look on the front page. Well, of course, we've got some very cheeky, revealing shots of some England fans in bikinis, but of course, this is a family show, so they haven't got their chest out, by the way. Of course, what do you think? This is not some kind of adult film or anything, but anyway, moving swiftly on, of course, as I was just going to say, and unbelievably, the headline on the page 4 and 5 of the Daily Star saying, Dallas Wow Boys as well. England Lions slick in on smooth win over Croatia, and we've also had an appearance also from a very famous England football fan known as Andy Milne, known as that World Cup guy, also on Instagram, and he recently paid out a huge amount of money. He literally had to sell his own house just to buy tickets to go and actually support England at the tournament. But he's already said that in an article here, as we can quickly read it here, that he put his second home on the market just to fund his World Cup trip, saying he has no regrets and wouldn't miss it for the world. 63-year-old, as I said, Andy Milne, said that he's already paid out a huge amount on taxis since arriving in Dallas, but asked whether he regretted putting his second home on the market. And from Northwich in Cheshire he originated from, he said, no, not at all. I've been careful with my money. I've written a book, it's called That World Cup Guy, and the book's selling really well. So that's raising money to help pay for my trip as well. So He's been an avid England fan since the 1982 FIFA World Cup in Spain, and he's been such a dedicated England fan for many years, and I'm sure most of you have been seeing him recently on social media, and he was absolutely amazing to see what we saw of him there as well. And this was actually unbelievably a few days prior that the very famous TV presenter of Top Gear fame, Jeremy Clarkson, was a few days ago initially diagnosed. He was suffering from an aggressive of course, bout of prostate cancer, but as of recently, he's just been readmissioned as of from yesterday, so he managed to catch it quickly enough, so he's making a very quick recovery, and he made a big statement also, before we get to the back page here of the Daily Star newspaper. He's got an all-important message for all of the people that were having concerns over his health, and how important it is for any people who might end up getting prostate cancer, possibly in the near future.
Hello everyone. Now the more observant among you will have noticed that I'm not dead. And I'm not just not dead, I'm perfectly fine. My eyebrows in particular are looking very lustrous. And the reason why I'm fine is because the doctors caught the prostate cancer early. And they caught it early because I got tested. Now, I know a lot of you will say, oh, I don't want to be tested because it means someone will have to put their finger in me, but it's just a blood test these days. And if you go to your doctor and he says, well, I'm not going to test you because you don't have any symptoms and you're not in a high-risk category, just lie. Just lie. Say you have got symptoms. Say that you have to get up 32 times in the night for a wee and that there's some dribbling. Because look, 10, 12,000 people, men, to be honest, men die every year in the UK from prostate cancer. Don't be one of them. Get tested.
Well, there you go, everybody. Well, it's great to hear that, most importantly, he is making a very good recovery, and as you do know, if you didn't know already, it is one of the biggest killers of men, of course, prostate cancer. Not to bring it on a downer, of course, but as you know, it's been something that has always been something talked about, especially when they've done certain charity events to raise money for Prostate Cancer UK, one of the biggest charities supporting people and men, young men, of course, who go through that particular medical scare. But fortunate enough, I know that I'm very fortunate enough to have not been diagnosed as of yet. But when the time comes, the most important thing is to get it tested and also caught quickly, because it can be quite aggressive, just like what Jeremy just had, and it can be one that could possibly take your life. But so just to remind you, it's just a bit of awareness about that, of course. Not to mention also, as we've already started in the first few weeks of June, it's also men's mental health awareness month as well. Because also there's been loads of campaigns going on with a rise of domestic abuse, which following if there would be times where England would lose a match due to resentment and anger following unfortunate results for the England team among England fans who may be a lot more older than I am, and if they're in a relationship, they there's no need to take their anger out and harm someone who they supposedly love, but that's no form of love at all when you of course abuse your partner, and that should never ever be considered something that should not belong in any person's lives, and every man should be in a free and non-confrontational and also supportive relationship, so that's very important to also address that out as well. So but anyway, moving swiftly on as we have a look on the back page once again of the Daily Star newspaper, and it says the headline, "Yeehaw! Kane and co do the biz in Texas thriller." And also from Ryan Taylor, one of the reporters in Dallas, one of the correspondents, sports correspondents for the Daily Star newspaper, said, Harry Kane struck twice as England started their World Cup campaign with a roller coaster win in Texas. The shaky Three Lions went in level at the break, but starman Jude Bellingham steered them back in front in the 47th minute before Marcus Rashford, added a late fourth. Kane, who opened the scoring from a retaken penalty, now ties level with Gary Lineker as the all-time England goal scorer at World Cups, currently with 10 goals at the moment, which we also forgot to mention. And in victory, Thomas Tuchel's inspirational captain has also joined childhood idol Sir David Beckham on 115 caps, and only Peter Shilton and Wayne Rooney have more. So as it stands, he's now the third joint highest capped England player, so he has only just got 5 more games to go, and if England could possibly go all the way in this FIFA World Cup tournament, he is hoping to beat Wayne Rooney's record of 120 there, but he won't beat the 125 there of the legendary goalkeeper of Peter Shilton. But hopefully after the tournament and possibly matches in the lead up to the qualification period for a few years' time at the next European Football Championships, which are going to be unbelievably happening in the UK and Ireland, and unbelievably with Wembley Stadium hosting the final yet again since the 2021 final, despite the unfortunate scenes that happened and quite dire and quite irrational behaviour among some England fans, even though there was no much police presence, and it was highlighted in a documentary called The Final Attack on Wembley, and it highlighted how serious it was, and it was the worst, I think, thing to happen among the outside of one of the biggest football matches for an England football team in history since 1966. But it's been brilliant to see that once again, with this incredible positivity going forward for the England football team, and I hope that they will go all the way just the same from in just a few days' time. And once again, we will be live here on World Cup 26, the America's Dream, though, of course, in just a few days' time for the opening matches. Now, England head over to Boston in Massachusetts and to the Gillette Stadium, where they will be playing their next match. And of course, once again, they will be taking on the Black Stars of Africa, that being Ghana in the second round. But as of currently right now, we've had a few matches that have already have been played and have already finished at the start of the second match day week of this summer's FIFA World Cup. And with that being said, it's now time to give you a reminder and also a full roundup of all of the classified group stage match day 1 results of this summer's FIFA World Cup, and we'll also give you an update on some recent ones as of the second match day, which has just started as of this week also too. So here's a quick reminder of, once again, of all those matches that played from last week, and also once again for the start of this week. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Full classified group stage match day 1 results. Starting with matches played in Group A. Mexico 2, South Africa 0. And South Korea 2, Czechia 1. On to matches played in Group B. Canada 1, Bosnia and Herzegovina 1. And Qatar 1, Switzerland 1. Next on to games played in Group C. Brazil 1, Morocco 1. Haiti 0, Scotland 1. Next on to matches played in Group D. The United States of America 4, Paraguay 1. And Australia 2, Turkey 0. On to matches played in Group E. Germany 7, Curacao 1. And Côte d'Ivoire 1, Ecuador 0. On to matches played in Group F. The Netherlands 2, Japan 2. And Sweden 5, Tunisia 1. On to matches played in Group G. Belgium 1, Egypt 1. And Islamic Republic of Iran 2, New Zealand 2. Next on to matches played in Group H. Spain 0, Cape Verde 0. And Saudi Arabia 1, Uruguay 1. Now on to matches played in Group I. France 3, Senegal 1. And Iraq 1, Norway 4. On to matches played in Group J. Argentina 3, Algeria 0. And Austria 3, Jordan 1. Next on to matches played in Group K. Portugal 1, the Democratic Republic of Congo 1. And Uzbekistan 1, Colombia 3. And finally on to matches played in Group L. England 4, Croatia 2. And Ghana 1, Panama 0. Well, there you go, everybody, and what some unbelievable results there that we just saw there. I think one of the biggest shocks, I have to say, apart from the thrashing there from the side of Germany there over their first World Cup appearance there for the little Caribbean, or I think it was a little island just off Africa. I think they actually speak Portuguese, Curacao there. But unbelievable, a 0-0 draw there for Spain over Cape Verde there. I think for their first time at a FIFA World Cup, that was unbelievable. And unbelievably, I did actually see that game unbelievably while I was in a pub. I think it was a Wetherspoons in London when my dad, when we actually went to see a West End show as part of a gift of my 32nd birthday, and that was Beetlejuice. And by the way, everybody, I know that if some of you have been watching my recent, of course, series of theatre-going revival, I've unfortunately, due to doing this series alongside it, I've had to delay a review of that particular episode of covering the show. But I've already been to see it. It was an amazing show to watch, and I may not get the chance to finish the review, and it could be the same because also I've got got plans to see Jesus Christ Superstar, which opened as of yesterday evening, and also as well as just at the turn of also as well as we mentioned on the last episode, the one-off West End performance of Why I Stuck a Flare Up My Arse for England from Alex Hill also was performed last night, and to an incredible response from the audience, and he also got a little bit teary-eyed, but I'm so bloody proud of him for the fact that he started in a little, of course, pub known as the Old Red Lion, which unbelievably, I can't remember exactly where in London it was, but I do know that during the COVID-19 pandemic from nearly over 6 years ago, a good old school friend of mine who's an avid football player, who also tried to attempt to be a football player in his younger years, playing for Norwich City, Ryan Hutton, had been performing there, and he also did a unique I think take on a Christmas Carol called December, and then it got rewritten to be called Cratchit, which tells the story of Bob Cratchit, more focused than on Ebenezer Scrooge, but it does follow a very similar format where he gets haunted by free spirits, but set in completely different eras to the original, of course, Ghost of Christmas Past and Christmas Present and yet to come, but it was done differently with the eras of World War I, and I think also the 70s, and as of currently in 2020, and it was very poignant at the time because he actually filmed it if it was a live performance also, because since this was during the time when theatres had to be closed due to the pandemic and the coronavirus spreading, he managed to do that, and unbelievably that is how I first discovered that theatre space, and that's crazy to think that Alex Hill's of course work started right from that little theatre. It was only with 50 seats in, and now that just as of yesterday he's managed to fill out an incredible 700 seat theatre, the once again the Garrick Theatre, and also unbelievably on the 21st of June, which as of now yesterday, since I'm filming this right now, was Father's Day, and I've just come fresh from celebrating Father's Day with my wonderful dad John. So, and I know it's ridiculously late as I'm filming this right now, but I would just like to wish my dad a very belated Father's Day to you as well. I hope you had a wonderful day. I know that with everything else happening in the world of course, of this football tournament, I haven't forgotten about you in the slightest, but I do know that you're going to be joining me in just a few days' time for the next game against Ghana, which we can also give you an update on as well, everybody, because we since my mum Samantha is going to be unbelievably going to see her dad, who is my granddad, George Armstrong, and won't be with us for the next few days, is that unbelievably I've been given special permission to film my reactions to the second game, and I'll be joined by once again my dad John and my sister Hannah Wright as we react to the second game of the group stage of this summer's FIFA World Cup in Group L against the Black Stars of Africa, that being Ghana. But there has been a few concerns also with some possible injuries picked up for some of the players, but we'll have more information on that, of course, on the next edition of, like I said, World Cup 26, the America's Dream, as we look ahead to the second match of this year's FIFA World Cup tournament. So, with that being said, that is it for this edition, and this make that very late night edition of my spin-off series of World Cup 26, the America's Dream Overtime. If you've enjoyed this episode, despite it being late, don't forget to give it a like, comment down below on your thoughts on what you thought of the game, and also please subscribe to keep up to date with our future episodes in the works. And like I said, next time out we'll be heading to Boston and to the Gillette Stadium for, of course, the second match against Ghana as England continue once again their hopeful and optimistic dream of hopefully becoming champions of the world at this summer's FIFA World Cup. From me, Jack Wright, and hope you've enjoyed this programme and this edition of World Cup 26, the America's Dream Overtime. There's more to come, and until next time, au revoir, adios, au wiedersehen. And I'll see you in a few days' time as we cover the second match of the group stage of this summer's FIFA World Cup with England versus Ghana. Thanks very much for watching, and now if you excuse me, I'm off to go and finally get some sleep. Thanks very much for staying up with me, and I'll see you in a few days' time for the second match of this summer's FIFA World Cup tournament campaign. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.